The Ottawa-based software company AuditMap uses artificial intelligence to help clients identify and analyze potential risks. We explore how the company managed to re-energize internal audit reporting and how they caught the attention of some international firms in the process. Today on Techopia Live. Welcome to Techopia Live. I'm Sherry Ask with the Ottawa Business Journal. And joining me today is Mathieu Lemay, the CEO and co-founder of AuditMap. Matt, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Techopia Live.
Hi, Sherry. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. So to start, I'm actually going to put you on the spot, if you'll allow me. For people who aren't familiar with AuditMap, can you give us your elevator pitch, AuditMap in 60 seconds or less?
Absolutely. AuditMap is an AI platform that identifies risks and risk trends inside internal audit reports. Often within large organizations and government departments, there are too many reports to navigate. That is a requirement for various regulatory bodies, various obligations, and there's a need to identify where the risk is within those reports. Sometimes people miss them, and our tool is there to help them identify those risks so they can catch everything.
Okay, and Matt, you guys were founded, I think, in 2018. Where did the inspiration for this come from? Like, what made you think, okay, we need this? We need a tool to help with internal audits.
Absolutely. Internal audit is not the business area where people think of when they think about AI innovation, when they think about modern and natural language processing. But working with the Canadian federal government and then having a lot of early backing and feedback from Deloitte actually helped us design a tool that helps auditors navigate this large trove of information in a way that is most effective for them. So it was less an inspiration and more a collaboration with a lot of our early partners and associates that were able to give us that concern as to how do we want to identify risk? What do we want to find inside those reports? And that really helped shape the growth of the platform early on.
And you mentioned large government organizations, and I believe banks as well make up a lot of your clients. What is it about AuditMap that lends itself to them as clients?
When you think about risk inside those internal audit reports, there are very broad categories that are the same across all major industries. So when you're talking about cybersecurity, when you're talking about financial oversight, about data privacy concerns, those are the same issues that plague banks, government departments, and large corporations. And so what we want to do is build a platform that is not universal so much as it can facilitate the same internal audit mechanisms that are the same across all major sectors.
And I think you just touched on what I wanted to ask next, but how do you build an AI tool that is broad enough to capture everything so you don't risk missing any risks, but also specific because obviously certain departments, certain banks have niche needs that they might want to issue X or Y flagged for them. How do you go about building that?
Yeah, and that's a great question because oftentimes what we see is how do we define risk? How do we capture risk? And one of the key pieces of information that we bring to our clients early on is, well, what do you know what isn't there? What's missing? What's absent? And that's just as useful a signal as to what is it you're trying to flag. Now, in terms of building an AI that is able to do this, of course, the first thing you need to do is collect a tremendous amount of data, make sure it is well curated and well sanitized. And from there, the biggest approach that you can take, the biggest strategy that you can use when trying to define the problem is really working with the clients to say, how do you and your team define risk? Are you more concerned about probability? Are you more concerned about impact? And together you find a solution that allows your tool to be deployed. And from there on, you now have a solution that can be used across multiple clients.
So it doesn't have to be custom hybrid to each client individually. You guys have a system that works more broadly.
Exactly. And what we see is when you identify a risk inside internal audit reports, internal auditors use a very prescriptive language that we've built our AIs around. Where we see a lot of customization is more around the specific workflows that our clients require in order to do their job. And that's where working with them, what we see often is certain tweaks and certain adjustments does provide a lot more clarity and a much stronger ability for our clients to navigate the information. So instead of just reading 30 reports in a month, you can now read 5,000 reports, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think it's clear that scale is a key reason to have AI for something like internal auditing, because we have so much information today, or a bigger, like a government client would have so much to go through that AI is almost needed. What do you do, or what happens when you find something, like you hit upon a key sentence or you identify a risk? What's step two?
The first thing I'm going to say to that is, because our platform is secured and on-premise, we don't see the client's data. And that's very important when handling critical information such as internal audit reports. However, what we noticed is when we are working with our clients, when we do offer additional professional services, what happens is, first, there's the identification of the risks, there's the categorization of the risks, and then there's the designed and specific workflows that come from those particular risks. This means that if you find a cybersecurity concern, you want to showcase it to your IT security lead. When there's a financial oversight issue, you want to bring it up with your auditor. And so with each and every one of those sentences, there is a system in place to identify what to do next. And that's how we integrate our platform within our client's organization.
Okay, really cool. And Matt, I know you're growing. It's been about 3 years. Can you give us a sense of where things stand now, and just in this short time, where you've been able to take things?
Absolutely. The first thing that we have to say, of course, is Multilanguage. AuditMap is a global company. We have clients that are reaching out to us from Switzerland and Australia all the way to our backyard with the Canadian federal government here in Ottawa. And so it's important to make sure that our platform is able to use multiple languages concurrently and even compare risks across multiple languages in real time. Where we're bringing the platform over the next few years is actually a combination of internal audit and enterprise risk, where both can work hand in hand to assess what are the threats that are affecting my organization from the inside, and what should I be worried about? What are these emerging risks that are coming out in the market, and what I should be afraid of in the real world?
Okay. And I did just want to mention, if it's all right with you, I know you've worked with Deloitte. You have a new partnership as well. Are you able to speak at all about that?
We can't officially announce it yet, but what we can say is this is the biggest software player in this particular segment, and we're happy to be on board their new team.
Okay, so stay tuned, because more things are coming.
That's announcements.
Okay. Matt, it does really seem that partnerships have played a big role in AuditMap's growth. So I just do want to take a minute to talk about partnerships. One of the resources that many local tech firms are turning to is the University of Ottawa's Faculty of Engineering, which is one of the supporters of Techopia Live. And there's an opportunity for local companies to solve technical challenges through research partnerships at the University of Ottawa. The faculty's researchers are focused on applying their expertise to tackle real-world problems and are keen to work with businesses to bring these solutions to market. So these collaborations can unlock funding opportunities as well as lead to grants for hiring PhD students. Companies can also access labs, specific equipment, and gain access to world-leading researchers. And you can learn more about the opportunities available to local firms at engineering.uottawa.ca. And Matt, before we go, I did want to ask you, why AI for internal auditing? I mean, you touched on this a bit, but you could have created an AI tool, used the similar technology to look at race cars or anything like that. Why bring AI to the internal auditing industry?
That's a great question, because there are a tremendous amount of opportunities and other mechanisms for acceleration for various industries. But what we noticed within internal audit is early on, when we started talking to the various teams of the various professionals in the industry, when they said that they were suffering from a lot of issues surrounding innovation, that their primary tool that they were using was still, to this day, Microsoft Excel instead of any type of robotic process automation, we noticed that there was indeed an opportunity to identify those key sentences within the reports. And with the early feedback that we had gotten from them, it was easy for us to build a platform that would meet those particular needs and those requirements that are quite stringent within the industry.
Okay, yeah. And Matt, is there anything else you want to say before we go, or let people know about AuditMap or the industry?
Absolutely. What I have to say is that I think our success so far truly stems from the team that we have on board. We were able to bring some strong professionals on the sales side, on the marketing side, on the engineering side. And it's really through this collaborative effort that we were able to grow so quickly. So I do need to give a shout out to my team.
And to put it in perspective for people, you're still just about 10, 12 people, correct?
Correct, and growing. So if you look at our LinkedIn profiles, you can see that we have some new job postings up.
Okay. As we mentioned, big things coming. So we'll stay tuned for that. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really great to talk to you and get an update on what's going on at AuditMap.
Thank you so much, Sherry.
And before we go, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, without whom this show would not be possible. Number Crunch, offering virtualized CFO services for SaaS companies. Hurley Robertson, Hill & McDougall, a leader in business and tech law. TD Bank, with specialized programs for tech firms. The University of Ottawa Faculty of Engineering, creating the next generation of technical talent. And Stratford Managers, providing services to help you scale your tech venture. Techopia is not just a great show. We are also online with new articles daily at obj.ca/Techopia. If you are on Facebook or Twitter, you can follow us. Our handle is at TechopiaOTT. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the like button, or you can leave a comment down below. And that is it for this episode. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back soon with another episode of Techopia Live.